Right, we are live. All right, we're just going to wait for this thing to kick in. While we're waiting for that, like I said, hi guys. My name's Adam Stevens. I'm a certified life and well-being coach from St. Louis, Missouri. It's good to be with you guys today. This is my live show. I do one of these live shows every Tuesday, almost every Tuesday, most Tuesdays. And anyway, you can learn everything you need to learn about me at adamstevenscoaching.com. That's sort of my hub space. You can click on hub and a ton of great content, free content will be there. Things I've written, my blogs, a bunch of live streams. All of my live streams are documented there on the hub, adamstevenscoaching.com. Couple of things you can click contact and put your information in and connect with me, and we can talk one-on-one about life coaching, about your goals. It would be awesome to get to know you, get to meet you, see what you're up to. And then also there's a place to sign up for my email community on the front of the homepage, right? And so, like I said, at my homepage, adamstevenscoaching.com, you can learn all about me. And I always say what I do is I help really busy people, just like you, develop the mindset and the habits to become happy people. So anyway, today's live stream is about life coaching. So I named it What is Life Coaching? Because that's kind of a buzz concept. Life coaching is something that probably started in the 80s or 90s. It was really a term that was coined by Tony Robbins and his organization. So back in the day, prior to that, there were people like Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Wayne Dyer, people like that who did a lot of different stuffs with sales training, mindfulness, manifesting. Some of them did real estate, and they were teaching people these concepts of how to shift our mindset, shift our belief structures to achieve things and go out and live incredible lives where we get to be happy and we get to make the money we want to make and we get to be in the relationships with the people we care about and just overall be out there creating our lives. Tony Robbins always says we can craft our destiny, right? Creating our lives and just basically enjoying every moment we can while we're on planet Earth, right? So anyway, I wanted to read you a couple of definitions of what life coaching is, and then I'm going to talk about some of my own views on it and what I specifically do as a coach, and then we'll get out of here. So I'll try and keep about 15, 20 minutes today. So anyway, the International Coaching Federation, which is sort of the gold standard that they do accreditation for programs. So I'm a certified coach. I went through a great program. The ICF does accreditation for these programs to make sure people are capable and actually know what they're doing to a degree. So the ICF says it's a partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So it's that partnership. Another definition here is a life coach is a type of wellness professional who helps people make progress in their lives in order to attain greater fulfillment. Life coaches aid their clients in improving their relationships, careers, and day-to-day lives. In creating these strategies, life coaches target your unique skills and gifts. And then this is a definition that I kind of dug. I found this in an interview on Oprah Magazine. It says life coaching focuses on what's happening right now, what a person wants next, and how to bridge the gap. So anyway, all that stuff kind of talks about partnering, working on your goals. So what I always say, I'm going to look at my own notes here. What I always say about what I do as a coach, when people ask me, well, what do you do? Like if I'm at a dinner party or I'm hanging out with people and I say I'm a life coach, they're like, well, what is that? You know, so I always say life coaching, it takes a functional person from okay to outstanding or functional to optimal, right? And I always say this, life coaching is future focused. So it's future focused. We're trying to create and build a life we can enjoy. It's goal oriented, right? So we're not just trying to shoot blindly out there and figure out what's going to happen. I want to know what specifically do you want to accomplish, why you want it, and then we're going to help you make a stair-stepping action plan to getting to where you want. And then this is a foundational piece of the work I do, and it's how I try and screen clients to see where they're at is I'm going to start from the assumption that you desire to change and that you're 100% capable of changing, right? So I'm not looking for any dysfunction or any kind of a disease process. We're not qualified whatsoever to diagnose any of that stuff. I'm going to treat you like you're a big kid, you're ready to take responsibility, and you want to move forward, and you're going to kill this goal. So I start from the assumption not that you're broken. I start from the assumption that you have unlimited potential to do anything you want. Because I know in my own situation, if I look at my journey of, I've been studying personal development, spirituality for like almost 20 years now. I've been reading and working with coaches and different people and personal trainers and sort of crafting my life as it is today. And I 100% know that if you get clear about what you want and pursue it with all your heart, you're going to make progress. Sometimes it doesn't turn out exactly like you think it should, but it turns out in a beautiful way. And I always say, I'm a deeply spiritual person, and I say God crafts masterpieces. If what's written on your heart makes sense for the world and the world needs it, I mean, it makes the world better. It brings love and joy and peace into the world. It's going to happen, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about my personal life mission and how I show up every day to try and achieve that. Before we get going on that, I'm just going to list some of the realms that I help people with, right? Think of it this way. There's different realms of our lives, right? We have different areas of our lives. And the way our psychology works is if we have a goal or the way we think about things, we take in senses, like we take in input from our senses, and we have thought processes and belief systems and structured psychology and attitudes about how we approach situations, right? So in any of these realms, we might have conditioning, ways we've done it, barriers, resistance, old stuff that we haven't been able to overcome. So anyhow, but one of the areas is wellness and well-being. I'm really into wellness and well-being, mindfulness, meditation, body awareness, getting into the body, getting tapped into how does my body feel? How is that connected to my breath? How am I breathing? How do I feel? What do I need to do to get myself in a good state where I feel really good and charged up and I feel okay right now in this moment, okay? Another thing is relationships, romance, your partner, your spouse, right? Family stuff, family, finance, spirituality and faith. That's a huge part of me. I love to work with people in spirituality and faith. Your career, that's kind of connected to finance, but your career and doing things that are meaningful, that serve your life mission. Another thing is fun and enjoyment. I just did 4 sessions with a woman from Canada who coached me on fun and enjoyment, and it was really cool. I just went in. I noticed a few months ago that I wasn't as free spirited and stuff as I used to be. And I was like, how can I kind of like, I have all these goals. I'm a hyper achiever. I go, go, go. How could I find some of these goals to where I could start to have more fun? I could lighten up, because I am at the heart, I'm kind of a hippie, right? I love live music. I love to travel. I love to have fun. I love to be outside. And I wasn't giving myself enough time to do that. So I worked specifically with a coach for 4 sessions, and I worked on that. And we had some really deep and fun conversations. And I came out of that a lot lighthearted. In fact, at one point, she had me take out my phone, which this is my lifeline, right? It has my calendar on it. And she had me take out my phone and look at my calendar, and we judged the energy of everything on my calendar, right? And I looked at it, and there was certain stuff that I was like, yeah, I love to do that. That has to stay in my life. And there was certain stuff that didn't really light me up. There was certain stuff, just different stuff I was involved in, that I was like, I don't really get a lot out of doing that. And we cleared up a few things. And actually, over the last couple of months of doing that, my time freed up a lot. And I've prioritized the things that mean something to me. And by doing that, I'm a lot more lighthearted and I'm having a lot more fun. I think my wife and my kids would agree with that. I've been having a lot of fun with my kids, and they're little, they're 7 and 3. And so right now is a great time to be making sure I'm spending as much time with them as I can, right? So what we want to do with these goals, whatever you pick, right? You want to have specific goals for what we call an engagement. An engagement in life coaching is we're going to work together for a specific amount of time on these goals, right? So like I said, I did a 4-session engagement with a coach on fun and enjoyment, right? Different people have different stuff, right? A lot of what I do is wellness, right? Because that's my journey. The best place to start as a coach is for us to help people with things we've already overcome, kind of like a spiritual law, if you will. And this applies to everything, is that you can't take someone farther than you've been. You can't teach someone something that you haven't mastered yourself, right? So when it comes to wellness, that's something I'm really passionate about, right? I quit smoking. I was a heavy smoker. I lost 115 pounds. I've been maintaining that weight loss since 2010. I taught myself stretching and fitness. I used to be scared to go to the gym, right? I'd go to the gym when I was big, and I'd just go get on an elliptical and just do the elliptical. And people would say, you should really lift weights, because if you lift weights, you'll maintain more lean mass and it'll affect your metabolism. You'll get stronger. You'll feel better. And I didn't lift weights for years. I was afraid to lift weights because I'd look over in the free weight section and I'd be like, I can't do that. Those people are doing deadlifts and squats. And one day I just went over and started doing it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And then I worked with a trainer. I worked with him for 8 sessions, and he taught me how to do some things safely. And now I go lift free weights all the time. It's like one of my favorite things to do. I'm just like another bro in there, man. I got my workout hoodie on. I go in there with my like thrash metal music, and I lift weights, and it's fun. It's like a real good way for me to shift my energy. But I needed help to get there. I needed people to give me information, and I learned a lot about fitness and the science of it. And now that's something I love to do, right? And I was able to go from a person who was morbidly obese, over 300 pounds, to now having lost 115 pounds. And I did that stair stepped. I figured out what I needed to know. I learned a lot about food. I learned a whole lot about food and cooking. And now I even grow food in my backyard. And I eat 6 to 8 servings of vegetables a day. I eat fruit. Like, I've structured this whole thing around the way I shop and do groceries and cook for my family and nourish my kids. And that's a real big deal. So wellness is a huge deal for me. And so one of the things I'll talk about with goals is we want to break the goal up, right? Whatever it is, if you want to lose 50 pounds maybe, and that's a huge goal. That's a lot of weight. So what's the goal? What's our long term? What does it look like to accomplish the goal? What does it look like about halfway there? And what does it look like right now, right? Sometimes we call these SMART goals. So specifically, what do we want? How do we measure it? Is it attainable and achievable? Is it reasonable? And what's our timeline on it, right? So we want to start with a SMART goal. I want to lose 50 pounds. So when you've stepped on a scale and you've lost 50 pounds, you have achieved the goal. Well, what gets us halfway there, right? Well, we know, you're a big kid. You know what you need to do. You need to eat a little bit less food. You need to do some mobility work. Not a ton of exercise. I think exercise is great, but I don't think we have to destroy ourselves. I think that's a recipe for failure in the beginning. It's also a recipe for getting injured. We drastically cut calories. We start getting up at 5 a.m. like a Navy SEAL and go hit it hard for 6 days in a row. And what you find is you burn out really quickly doing that. So we need to, what's our mid-level goal? Well, we need to learn about shopping. We need to learn how to pick good produce. We need to learn how to cook. You may need to learn how, I use a slow cooker, right? You're going to need to learn to have really good nutrients and food with you, all the time, right? You're going to have to remember, you're going to encounter barriers when it comes to goals, right? So what's my barrier? The excuse you're going to use is I don't have time. You're going to be too busy, right? So what do we have to do? I have to say this priority is so important that it needs to be default. I can't use the time excuse or the busy excuse. I have to get this done. What's the action point right now? If I have a wellness goal, right? We say that this is our example. I want to lose 50 pounds. What's the action point right now, right? Do you have shoes? Do you have pants? Do you have a gym membership? Do you have a slow cooker? Do you have a refrigerator? Do you have a working microwave? Do you have a stove? Right? What's my action point right now? And it might be something, I always tell people to do this immediately when they're working on a wellness goal. If they're in that place where you've kind of let some stuff go, you're not feeling like you're living your best life, drink water today. Get a glass, drink water right now, right? Start to hydrate. Next thing, what's the next meal you're going to eat, and how could you make it a little bit better than what you're doing, right? Maybe you eat a value meal for lunch every day, right? It's going to be lunchtime in a couple hours here in Central Time. Well, what would be a better choice? Maybe I could get grilled chicken. Maybe I could get a salad. Maybe I could skip the soda, whatever. What's my first action right now? That's what I want to teach people as a life coach, and the stuff I do with well-being is I want to know exactly what you want, and I want to know what's the next action point so we can get you results right now. We don't want, so many people struggle with their goals because they think it'll be really hard. And there are parts of it that are really challenging, but honestly, most of the goal isn't the final destination. It's all of the hundreds and thousands of times you're going to have to overcome a barrier. Your mind is going to say, oh, I don't have time for that. And you're going to have to say, yeah, you do. If you want this goal, you have to make time. For instance, we order our groceries and go pick them up, and then I'll go to Trader Joe's. We order them from Walmart. I usually go to Trader Joe's once a week, and I go to Deerberg's to get produce. Friends don't let friends eat terrible produce. I eat good lettuce, right? I eat good apples, right? So I have to go to 3 different grocery stores. I need to use my slow cooker. I need to meal prep. I need to be ready to go at all times to fuel my body. I work with a structured food plan because I don't want to be 300 pounds again. So I have my goals here, right? We got the long-term goal, we got the midterm, and we've got the daily action points. I've achieved my wellness goal. I've achieved my wellness goal. I like how my body is. My body feels good on most days. And I do whatever I have to do appropriately to stay that way, to avoid further injuries and to deal with a back injury I have. I've achieved my goal. And now I have action points every day. And I've mastered these action points, right? I don't have to worry about these things. They just happen. You're building habitual patterns. And as you overcome the barriers, I don't have time. I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to eat another Caesar salad, whatever it is. As you overcome this stuff, you are priming your mindset, your belief structures, and your thoughts to just get in line with living a healthy life, right? So that's wellness. Relationship goals. Everybody should have relationship goals, right? If you're not actively working on your partnership or your marriage right now, how can it grow, right? And none of us come into the world knowing how to be in relationships or knowing how to be the perfect partners, right? We have to learn all that stuff, right? We have to learn to communicate. A huge part of my wellness stuff is being able to communicate my timetables so everybody in the house gets to do what they need to do, right? I need to be able to communicate effectively in my marriage and say, hey, this is what I need to do, or I need to shop here, or we need to do this. Communication is key. That's a huge part of relationships, right? Personal boundaries is a huge thing. So we've got wellness, we've got relationships, personal boundaries. All of these things are going to come into play when we're trying to figure out what's going on and how we're going to accomplish these goals. So as a life coach, people ask me what I do. I sit down and have these really wonderful, profound, and deep conversations with people. I'm going to give you permission to go after the life you want. So many people live lives that they think they should live. Oh, I should do this. I should take this job. And I'm telling you right now, if there's a shortfall between who you really are, who you really are, like the music you love, the people you love, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Do you love to travel? Do you love to be outside? Do you cycle? Do you mountain climb? Whatever. Who you really are. If there's a shortfall between who you are and what your life looks like, there's going to be some burnout. There's going to be some struggle there. And the one thing I want so many people to tap into as a life coach when I sit down with my clients is I want you to become the person you really are. If you can show up every day with your skill sets, your native skills, your native sense of humor, you're going to be so much better off in your relationships, in work life, and all this stuff, wellness, romance, finance, career and enjoyment, fun, spirituality. We want you to show up as the best version of yourself, because if you prioritize you, if you put on your oxygen mask first, everyone else is going to get the best version of you, man. And that's really important. And I'm going to finish up here with talking a little bit about my life mission. Before I entered life coach training in 2019, I would have told you my life mission. I just had the basic wounded empath thing, always helping other people, putting other people's stuff way above me, working way too much, just not taking care of myself totally because I'm one of those helper people. I'm a service person. And I say empathy and compassion are amazing, but empathy and compassion without boundaries is a recipe for burnout. And what happens to people who are highly empathetic and then they get burnout is when they can't take it anymore, they end up getting really frustrated, right? So they basically go from help too much, burnout, rationalizing, can't tolerate anymore, getting angry, and then going into victim mode, right? And no one likes to be in victim mode. No one likes to be in conflict and defiant and angry and snarky. But we do that to ourselves. So my life mission used to be, I used to say, I want to make impact in the world. I want the world to be a better place because I woke up today. And that is all beautiful stuff. Going to give you a little hint there. That's very much a millennial thing. I'm an older millennial. I guess if 1980 is the cutoff, I'm in 82, so I'm an older millennial. That whole impact thing, that's very much a millennial thing, but that's cool. It's a great thing. But for me, I've kind of worked that goal back. My life mission is I want to have fun. I want to spend time with people I love. I want to receive love. I want to receive the impact and love from the world. I want to make sure I want to have as much fun and enjoyment as I can with my wife. And I want to raise, children that feel good and they feel loved and they feel like they can go out and attack the world and achieve great things. I want them to have a stable and predictable environment. I want to spend all the time I can with my parents, with my siblings, with my church family, with all of my recovery family. I want to spend a lot of time with people and siphon as much love and enjoyment and joy and fun and passion as I can out of this universe. And that starts with taking care of me, right? And that's the number one thing I like to help my clients with is I want you to grasp what do you want and how can we start getting it for you right now. We don't want to wait, oh, I'll get this goal in 6 months or next year it'll get done. No, I want you to start making progress right now so you'll start to feel really good. So anyway, if you want, DM me on Facebook, text me. You probably know how to get in touch with me. Send a comment, go to the website, hit on connect or contact at Adam Stevens Coaching and get in touch with me. I'll send you a link and you can get on my calendar and book a completely free consultation. I'll have you fill out a questionnaire and stuff, and I'll get to know you and see if we'd be a good fit to do some of this work, right? Well-being, wellness, all these relationship stuff, money, getting on a minimalist journey, a debt-free journey, all of this stuff is super profound. It'll make you a lot healthier and it'll really help you serve the world in a really beautiful way. So anyway, like I said, Adam Stevens, go to adamstevenscoaching.com. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you understand a little bit more about what life coaches do and what I do as a certified coach. So anyway, you have an amazing day. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for tuning in.